Hello and good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the Brown Dad. And my name is Rana Gracias. As you know, here at the Brown Dad, we strive to bring you interesting content and we strive to bring you different perspectives from different brown dads to help empower dads because we believe that awareness is the first step. And through awareness, we create education, and through education, you create empowerment. And in that vein, on today's episode, we have none other than the dynamic Vikram Dalal. Say hello, Vikram.
How you guys doing? How are you? Thank you
Thank you.
for that kind introduction.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Brown Dad. And we're excited to share your journey. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Vikram Dalal, as Rainier mentioned, and a proud brown dad of two, and most importantly. And as a professional, I'm an airline pilot with Air Canada, but currently laid off because of the pandemic, and finding fun times and fun things to do, such as this interview.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's exciting, being a pilot. What is that like? What do you get to travel the world? Have you done international travel, local travel?
Started out as just regional airline pilot, so just doing Southern Ontario and then into the Northeast US, and then grew into a larger aircraft or graduated into a larger aircraft. And then that pretty much expanded to the Eastern Seaboard, plus further into Middle America, all Canadian
Wow.
and nations for now. And
Wow.
the pandemic, just before the pandemic started, I joined Air Canada, got certified on a larger aircraft, and about 60 hours of flight time in, I laid off, so I didn't get a chance to travel much
Wow.
as per
That's
my
amazing.
job. But
Well, it's
hey,
amazing. I mean, it's definitely a journey, and it's definitely a very unconventional brown dad type of job. So I find that very interesting to have that discussion. And I bet you've seen different things through all those different travels. Now, we do have another brown dad also from a co-creator of our on our team, Imran said. Imran, please introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everybody. So Vikram, I'm not sure if you know right now, but Vikram and me, we went to college together. And it was very refreshing to see another brown dude in an unconventional course of study. Because everybody always thought brown kids studying medicine or engineer,
Right.
it was very refreshing to see another brown kid in my class. And obviously we gravitated towards each other, and now here we are, we're still friends, right?
yeah.
So personally, for me, it was very hard to convince my parents to let me go into aviation. So how was your experience?
I always wanted to get into aviation, and my uncle, he was in the Indian Air Force, so whenever we used to visit him, we all were always inside planes and everything like that. So that was my biggest influence, was my uncle and my dad. We knew that back home it was next to impossible, just because it was prohibitive of costs and contacts and all that to get into aviation or start learning to fly in a civil aviation kind of aspect. So when we emigrated to Canada and we saw how widespread aviation is in Canada, especially general aviation, so the training schools and flight schools and flying clubs and of that sort. So once I got old enough, 15, 16, and I still expressed a lot of interest in it. And my dad's like, let's go flying. So we went to Brampton Flying Club, where I started my flying and got hooked and started taking my courses there, getting my lessons. And I had my pilot's license before my driver's license.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. How long was the journey to take your pilot's license, if you don't mind?
Well,
that perspective?
I started when I was 16, and it can be done about a year and a half if you keep going at it the whole time. But I had high school and everything to go through too, so
Right.
I did summers. So in 3 summers, I had my commercial pilot's license.
Wow, that's amazing dedication. And I mean, it's paid off or going to high school.
No, we don't know yet. I still have to see that threshold.
Well, the pandemic will be over soon. I mean, this is part of the lull that we're in.
Exactly.
I know globally everyone is struggling, but at the Brown Dad, we wish everyone well and we wish everyone better times.
Exactly.
That being said, how was it growing up? Because obviously you have had that immigration journey and you've had that whole discussion around this different with the parents supporting you and things of that
Mhm.
sort. How has that journey been coming into a different country?
Well, it was we had family here, so my mom's side we had family here, so that's how we got sponsored over. It's not just blank slate and we just came here.
Right.
We had that base support system.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we lived with my mom's brothers for a while, and then
Right.
to get our own house and everything because we can't just endlessly
Right.
at somebody's place. So
Right.
we bought an apartment. My parents bought an apartment. My brother and I, and my parents were in a small apartment.
Right.
And all of us started working. And as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old brown kid in India, you'd never think about working. So
Right.
I was working at a car wash, being a little tech at the car wash, and yeah, that's how I worked and put money together towards the flying school stuff. So
Right.
working at an up car wash and an automated car wash, and and my brother was a cashier at the gas station. I was a
Right.
kid doing that stuff at the car wash, and that's how I put together money towards. I knew my parents didn't have enough money for me to start flying and everything, so I paid for more than 60% of my flying from that car wash.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
And I mean, hey, if the piloting doesn't work, you can still always
always wash cars.
uh, no, thank you for that lovely insight, and it's definitely a sense of an appreciation for what it is that you've acquired and where it is that you are right now, because you know the hard work and the dedication, the hours that you put in to
Yeah.
get to where you are. Uh, Now, quick question around that. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, you did have a different unconventional job. Sorry, unconventional job position, sort of to speak, right? And
Mhm.
what challenges did you face with that once once you started to go down that route in terms of
Um,
actual job?
when I started flying, of course, being a minority, you do stand out a lot more. And but the thing is, in terms of flying and my colleagues as the captains or the first officers, but when I was a first officer, my captains or myself as a captain and looking at my crew, nobody thinks that much in terms of what your ethnicity is. It's your competency that they care about because that level of professionalism is there. That
Wonderful.
you must have some basic level of competence. So
Right.
it's nobody looks at race that way. Some do, and you can't help that mental state of those people. You just
Right.
carry on what you do on your own terms, right? And
Right. Right.
you can't change people's minds. I can't be bothered. I have too many things to do on my own that take precedence over what other person's mental state is or what they think about me. So
Definitely.
my job to the best of my abilities, and that shows and that reflects in the colleagues and the appreciation that they give me. And not that I do it for that; it's my own level of care that I take care in my own job and how I conduct myself. The rest is out of my control. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. That's very, very well put. I
Mhm.
I do want to actually inquire about a very interesting tidbit that we found out about you. You have a very unique sort of passion
Yeah.
for a little more polished timepieces. So I hear.
um, yeah. So I started. one of my hobbies is collecting watches and wristwatches, to be exact, and some pocket watches and so on. Not that I have clocks and donging everywhere around my anything like that, but just yeah, it's a passion that I have. It's wristwatches and timekeeping, so to speak. And not that it's late for this interview, so it's not punctuality. It's just an interest in timekeeping. And yeah, I've got a few watches and that I've sunk money into.
And what got you interested in this type of again, unconventional choice of hobby?
Yeah, I think it's part of aviation, just because there's so much timekeeping and time related activities that need to be done, that
Right.
you have a watch, you look anywhere on the flight deck and you'll see at least 3 watches.
Right.
And then the types of watches that are catered towards aviators, and the aviator watches and all that.
Right.
And going through, and almost a lot of the pilots, they usually have a decent looking watch. So
Right.
in terms of that,
Brinkling, I believe, right, is the pilot.
yeah, that's the cliche one. So
Right.
you see a lot of big,
Do
huge
you own a
dinner plates on
Brinkling as
people's
well?
hands, so on the wrists. So not that I gravitate towards that, not the bling factor or anything, just the aesthetic of what appeals to me. And
So
that's
what is your favorite watch, if you don't mind sharing that with our viewers?
that's a loaded question. That's too many. In my collection currently, I think my favorite would be Omega Speedmaster Mark 4.5. Would be my. It's a 70s, 80s watch, and it's an automatic with lots of hands and subdials, and that's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I've learned so much about watches just by looking at your Insta story. Like I didn't know there were so many versions of watches. Like you just said, Speedmaster 4.5. Like for me, just like it's a watch.
It's a watch.
A Fossil or like Casio. But
Yeah.
when you share your watches, it's much more detailed. And I'm like, wow, this is such a subculture.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's
And
amazing.
Vikram, if anyone
All
wants
through Instagram.
if anyone wants to source that information, like if anyone wants to share, anyone wants to see that watch collection, or to learn more about watches, is
Yeah.
there an Insta channel that you promote?
I'm just on Instagram, so at VIKDALAL, so at Vic Dalal. That's my handle.
We'll have that in the description as well. So
Sure. Yeah.
definitely our viewers can come follow your watch collection
I'd appreciate that.
and understand the true value of time.
Yeah, time is money. It costs money.
Definitely. In your case, it's literal, very literal, right?
Very
A lot of
literal.
money. Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, Vikram, just shifting gears a little. Thank you so much for sharing, your relationship, obviously, with your dad, and how does that influence you as a dad?
Dad, as most Indian dads, I believe all our dads were all born in India, and they had that authoritarian kind of classic brown dad thing, and it was tough love as always. And
Right.
but not to say that I was ignored or beaten or anything, abused or anything like that. It's
Right.
his way of dealing with us, right? And it's turned us into the men that we are today, and in no way that's diminished any of our acts of our experiences in our lives.
Right.
So just because whichever way you take it, you can learn from both ways. I was like, oh, that's what dad did well, and I should continue to do that. And certain things may be that, hey, maybe I should improve on that and not instill that into my son or
Right.
daughter, right? So nothing is any and all experiences should be taken in a light that you can improve on, even if it's a positive one or a negative one.
Right.
So that's how
that positive outlook that helps out a positive outcome, right?
exactly in either ways, right? either you're improving on something or continuing something.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. It's interesting that you bring that perspective, and it's very true that you mentioned that. I do want to thank you for sharing all those thoughts. Now, just moving into that perspective of you now being a dad. Sorry, did you were you comfortable sharing the age of your children as well?
Sure, yeah, I got a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Wonderful, wonderful, and definitely in a younger as a younger dad. What how does that make you feel? Would you would you
Proud of my
foresee?
kids.
Sorry.
I'm proud of my kids and love having them around and them learning new things, constantly learning new things. My 2-year-old, she's starting to speak and she starts saying new words every day, increasing her vocabulary. It's awesome seeing that progression. And
Right.
6-year-old, he's in kindergarten, so he's homeschooling like all of us, homeschooling kids, and so he's got projects constantly on the go, that little craft and things that they have to do. So I'm helping them out all the time since I'm the one at home.
Right. Right.
It's a
I
great
guess.
building. It's a great building experience for our relation that we're able to spend time with them.
Yeah. I guess in a way there is some kind of silver lining in the sense that you do get to spend that time with the family, right?
Mhm.
Do you find any challenges with being able to balance that with the current climate of where things are and the career choices that you've made?
Well, the current climate is very conducive to having a family life because you're
Right.
not going anywhere else. But with the career choice, definitely we're gone for as little as 2 days to even 7 days out. And with my elder one, I saw that I missed his first words. I missed
Right.
his first walk. Right, that's all I saw was on videos. I never truly had that experience of seeing it firsthand.
Right.
And I kicked myself for doing that. But the thing is, I had to provide for the family. So
Right.
choices had to be made. And I regret that. But grand scheme of things, it had to be done.
Correct.
So with the second one, I got to see that thanks to the pandemic. So
Right.
why beat yourself up on something that you cannot help, right? I'm laid off. It's a global catastrophe, but
Right.
make the best of it. And that's spending time with your family and improving on your family.
Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
that's the silver lining of this.
Exactly.
You can stay home and spend time with family, and
Yeah.
I think that's where the whole family concept is much more important, and it makes this whole difficult time go by easily when you
Yeah,
have kids around as well.
exactly. And my parents are with us. So there's 6 of us in the house. And we're all taking care of the kids together. And wife is working nights. So I get the short end of the stick and taking care of the sleepless kids at night. So hence the lack of sleep and tiredness that you see in my eyes.
No, thank you. And it truly is the embodiment of the brown dad, right? Being able to step in and do whatever needs to be done, whether it is from providing from a financial perspective or now from an emotional perspective, given the change of pace as to where you are right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. I did want to quickly touch base on this piece of it. Where do you, what type of dad do you aspire to be? And in the same vein, what do you see the ideal brown dad as?
A dad I aspire to be would be probably not as a not as an equal, because there has to be some sort of hierarchy. So you can't
Mhm.
best friend dad or anything like that.
Right,
I want to be a dad that I'm approachable to any and all questions, any and all inquiries. I make myself available for them to have fun, play with them, educate them, show, provide them learning lessons, and give them some sort of foundation that my dad instilled in me to give to find to for me to be able to to be able to withstand all the life's difficulties and persevere through those difficulties and find time to have that joyful time with my kids.
Right.
Don't want to be somebody that they call me bro or anything like that. As a dad, he's not. There's some sort of disconnect between being a friend and a dad, right? So I wish that they would come to me, confide in me. I want to be that kind of a dad, but not in terms of being at the same level, right? There has to be that respect. And that's what I want to teach in them, that there's respecting elders, there's a reason for that. And it's continued in our traditions as brown dads and in our culture. So it's something that I'd like to inspire to be, or aspire to be.
Right. Wonderful. And I'm assuming that, again, the ideal brown dad would then have those type of cultures and things inculcated in your children as well.
Exactly. So like the whole our identity, our culture should not just dilute into the society, right? It's integration, of course. There's absolutely integrated into Canadian society. You are where you live. That's understandable, but maintain your heritage as well.
Right. It's part of that assimilation, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
definitely very interesting. I definitely appreciate that perspective. And I do want to ask, do you have any words of wisdom? So we did make a decision earlier today that we are going to call the segment Pearls of Wisdom from our brown dads. And
Pearls of wisdom.
Pearls of wisdom for our viewers today.
Pearls of wisdom, huh?
It could be a quote. It could be anything that you feel that you'd like to share with our viewers.
I think the pearls of wisdom that kind of have lived by me is treat others as they would treat you, or that they would treat you'd like to be treated as.
Right.
So that would be my pearls of wisdom, was treat others like the way you want to be treated.
Wonderful. That's such a beautiful statement, because again, if you do treat others like you want to be treated, then you're going to treat them with respect, right?
Yeah.
So definitely. Vikram, I do want to thank you. I want to thank you for supporting our journey on the Brown Dad, and thank you for volunteering your time today and sharing all your wonderful insights and thoughts. I'm going to hand off the podium to Imran for a quick second, just to give us a quick chat about, Imran, do you want to wrap up with your relationship with Vikram and how it is that, you've encountered the wonderful things that you've encountered with him?
Sure. Well, it's a very, what do you call? It's very interesting to see the arc, like I've known you since college, and when you used to whip your Beamer around.
Oh man, college days.
Those good old days, man, right? And just to go from that to where you are right now, like father of 2 kids and a professional career, and achieve so much in life. It's wonderful to see.
Much, right? Just
falling right now. And it's still a long journey to go. You're still just beginning it, right? So it's very wonderful to see our whole journey so far, and it's amazing, man. That's all I could say. Like, thanks for having a chat with us today and sharing life stories. And this pandemic is that's what it is, man. It's just literally a small stopgap. It's for us to reset and spend time with our families, appreciate the small things in life. And it's going to go away, and we'll be back flying in the skies before you know it.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Yeah, can't wait. And having friends like this and meeting up and hopefully meeting everybody in person.
Yes.
Would be a good thing, I think.
Definitely a change of pace.
Yeah.
Vikram, once again, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us again on the Brown Dad. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Each of our viewers, Please tune in for more wonderful, wonderful interviews with all these amazing brown dads and all these wonderful perspectives. Have a lovely evening. Thank you all.
Thank you again, gentlemen. Have a great night.